This is Jason of Metalchondria here with Cavebastard, a pleasant surprise on the opening night of Cattle's tour, here with Troy, Adolfo, and Steve. A pleasure. Again, earlier, bummed that you guys are going to be on the rest of the tour, but one performance is better than none. Great crowd. I thought the fans resonated with the band pretty greatly. Tell me what you guys thought about the show tonight.
I think we had a great time tonight. I thought it was a good show. There's a good turnout. Everyone seemed pretty fucking into it. Everything. The whole night. But yeah.
Pretty goddamn fun, I'll tell you that, man. That's been a while. I haven't played the brick with the cavebastard, but that was really a good time, man.
Yeah, I mean, I thought overall the atmosphere was very positive. It seemed like everybody was itching to get back in to the brick and to see Cattle and this entire lineup tonight. So overall, I thought it was a really good turnout and it's a really good vibe overall. So it was a lot of fun.
San Diego shows up, even from being from Orange County, going to these shows. San Diego generally shows up, especially this venue for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you going to shows here for half of my life. San Diego doesn't always have the best turnout, but considering a Tuesday night for how packed this was really awesome. This was really awesome, and the San Diego fans that come out are definitely the diehards. That's for sure. Not for the casual fan.
Agreed. So, again, literally hearing my first time hearing Cavebastard for the first time. Started in about 2014, 2 albums now or so, give or take. Tell me about how the band started and just a little introduction about it.
Honestly, it started just myself and Nick. He was the guitar player at the time, and it's like, hey, you want to do something? It's like, oh, let's talk and we'll do something, We met up at a pizza place in Kensington area, Adams Avenue area, and, had some food, hung out, and it's like, kind of turned into what it was. It's like trying to pressure Steve into doing vocals who didn't want to, and pressuring Adolfo to play guitar eventually, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, as far as I know, these guys had that conversation in June 2014? Is that right, Troy? May or June?
Yeah, so it was like May of 2014 when Nick and I actually got our shit together and started writing shit. And then he brought Chase in, and I asked Sal to come play drums.
Right.
And Sal was the drummer for Some Girls and Secret Fun Club, and I don't know, he's been doing a lot of shit. Geronimo, whatever. It depends on what you're into. We started. That's where we started.
Yeah, and then I got the call.
And then, I hit Steve up. It's like, all right, so you want to just I don't know, dude. I play bass and do vocals. Now you can do it. You're fine, dude. You can do it. You're fine. You got this.
Yeah. So we just kind of started as something to do just for fun and stuff, and it's kind of evolved into something much more serious. And eventually we got Adolfo to start jamming with us in the summer of 2019 to prepare. Mostly for recording the last album, Wrath of the Bastard. And after 2 shows, we asked him, hey, you want to join full time? He said, sure. So that that was after our show at the Slide Bar in Fullerton. Yeah.
I've been there before. Yeah, I've been there a number of times. It's a good time.
One of the owners is, I think, the guitar player from Lit, or one of those bands. Yeah.
I think that they have some connection. Something like that.
That's
yeah.
what I remember, yeah. Uh-huh.
Cool. And so just hearing the music initially, when I'm hearing the riffs, and I mentioned earlier about I heard these interesting, when I say interesting, just really well thought out tremolo moments and these certain chords, and I remember hearing those in Humanor mainly, and a little bit of To Serve Man. Okay, then that tells me that that's what Troy was doing and what you were more or less writing, and I guess your style.
I mean, I guess a little bit, but yeah, it's I don't know, this band is a little further forward than I guess those times back then, but yeah, still it's very melodic and on the spot. Fuck. Someone help me. Oh no, so it's I don't know, yeah, definitely along the same lines, but much more melodic and more thought out, and kind of staged, I guess.
How would you describe your writing style? Do you start from bass to guitar, or write guitar and?
Oh, dude, it's all over the fucking place. Some riffs start on bass, some start on guitar. Most finish with me writing, like finishing it out on acoustic guitar, and then it goes to everyone else after that, and seeing how things fit, and then modifying from there.
Is there a reason that with writing all those riffs and songs that you stuck to bass? Is there something that like you've ever tried to want to play guitar and venture out, or is there what's about the bass that you stick with, even though you're writing for here and there for both instruments?
Dude, honestly, the bass is. I don't know. That to me, that's my instrument. That's where I feel at home. The guitar comes later, and I'm not really great at it, but I can kind of help get things across. Same with drums. Like, I don't really understand it enough, but I'm learning to get to there to communicate better. But I don't know.
And at least with this band, a lot of the guitar writing that he did on this second album was that it was just it kind of had to be done. He was writing the riffs. He was a songwriter.
Yeah.
Right.
It didn't matter what. It was a lot of the drums, some of the drum hits, some of the things that had to happen on the drums. On the guitars and the bass. He's a bass player, but it's just gonna happen. But I can tell you right now that moving forward, I mean, he's gonna have a lot more help. Hopefully, it's gonna be
yeah. And already just going forward, like even an old song that didn't make the cut, and then moving on to other new songs. It's a much more heavily collaborated effort than it was before. Yeah.
Did you record on the new album?
Yes, I did.
Did you write parts or just record the
I
music?
wrote the solos.
Okay.
So the guitar solos that are a little more notier, the shreddier solos, those are me. There's two solos on there that are not so much. Those are the other dude, but I did this stuff.
So really deal.
Okay. So that was me, and some of the harmonies were my ideas, but like basically a lot of those riffs were his. They were all him. There were just some parts that were like, "Hey, this piece of harmony." I was like, "All right, I'll figure it out," and I did.
As a guitar player, hearing his style, like, because I find it fascinating to like really learn like the little intricacies about this extreme music that we listen to. As a guitar player, recording the solos and hearing his parts and making melodies, how would you describe it, and what do you do in your mind to know, what do you do as a guitar player to like make sure that you get the best out of his sound and the band? Like, what do you, as a guitar player, I guess I'm trying to word, what do you see in his music, that in the riffs that I guess challenge or like just channel what you're in the band, and I guess a guitar player's point of view.
So how do I match what he's doing? Like, how do I make it happen? Where like,
yeah,
I don't know what you mean. So yeah, I mean, first of all, I ask, hey, so this is what I mean. It's like a try and error. It's like so especially coming in, I don't know. All this stuff was written already, and I came in, and I was like, okay, so what do you want me to do here? There was a lot of that. A lot of like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What about here? Like, I have this. I guess I have this idea. And it was just asking, like, hey, is this cool? No? What about this? And maybe I had like, okay, so he had this one part, and maybe some parts he was like, hey, I'm hearing like a harmony right here. What do you got? And it's like, well, I got fucking like 3 or 4 ideas right here, motherfucker. Like, what's up? Which one do you like?
Right.
And so yeah, like I was very flexible. I was trying to be as flexible as I could be for this. They were like, I didn't want to alter as much. Like, it's like this is already like written out, and I wanted to like just contribute, not so much like change much. I was like, okay, so what do you want to do? What am I gonna do? And yeah, man. So yeah, it was a lot of asking and trial and error and ideas with like just my background, what I like to do. So I was like, okay, so what do you think of this? And it worked out to what it worked out to be. So yeah.
I like some of this.
Yeah, exactly. I like some of this. You like this? No? Ugh, no. Okay, so keep going. Now, what about this one? And yeah.
All right. And Steve, with the lyrics and vocals, I presume you write all the lyrics.
All the lyrics. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any music contributions to the band that you either little here and there, maybe with like drum accents or just certain like things like vocally, like maybe with it like as an instrument too, or is it just straight singing only? Or
well, there's been at least a couple of things where I might help with like an arrangement where it's like, you know, I'll be listening to these guys working on a part and I'll say, hey, well, you know, how about you guys do this, you know? And that ended up sticking, you know, like there's one part in that song, The Christ, where it gets to that one part where it's just the guitar playing and then there's that dun dun, you know, like I suggested that, like, hey, why don't we try doing this, you know, to kind of give it a little bit more dynamic, you know, a little bit more feel, and it seemed to work. So, so I you know, I pitch ideas here and there. As far as like the actual riff writing, I pretty much stay out of it. On our first album, the opening riff of the first song I actually wrote.
Okay.
But it was not necessarily intended for the band. It was something I wrote years before, and I was like, hey, what do you guys think of this riff? You know? And that was it, because I had played bass in previous bands that I was in, so I was familiar with learning riffs and writing riffs and stuff like that. I mean, for the most part, as far as like the music writing goes, this last album, it was all Troy. I threw some ideas out there for some of the arrangements, but besides that, I pretty much stay out of the whole music writing process and focus on the lyrics and stuff. Our old drummer, the drummer that recorded, he made sure to accent certain things on like the vocal patterns and the vocal parts and stuff like that. So I think that kind of helped really convey a lot of like the emotion and different feelings within the songs and stuff like that. So
I see.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that because I've noticed the past like several years with extreme music that the vocalist now isn't just sing, like, and they'll almost use their like certain lyrics or certain parts as like instruments. They'll do the same thing as the drums. They'll like Anata does that a lot. Arcspire does it too, where there's like the drums will dun dun dun, and then the vocals will do just that. So I think that vocals in general in metal, extreme metal, have had play more of a role than just singing right there in front. They're actually using the voice and the lyrics in junction with the instruments around. At least with your experience as a singer, what do you try to keep in mind when you're playing their style of death metal? When you're hearing it, what do you try to keep in mind as a frontman, as a vocalist, to like extra heighten all the musical notes in there?
Well, for one, I don't, when I write lyrics and when I try to figure out how the vocals are going to go, I don't want to do something that's going to be like very predictable, you know, and there's bands that have fallen victim to that. And so I try to do something where, yes, the vocals are their own instrument, along with like the guitar and the bass and the drums. And where it actually makes sense with all of the music. And it's like, okay, when it comes with song titles, does it make sense that this song is called this? When you hear the song, is this the name that you're figuring out? You know, so just because obviously when it comes to music, everyone, of course, has their own experience. But with us, it's like, okay, where are we taking you with this? You know, what emotion do we want to convey? And, you know, a lot of people say that, oh, death metal is just a bunch of, you know, blast beats and gutturals or whatever. But it's like, no, like, you know, we're telling a story here. And, you know, you could feel different emotion where you could feel triumph. You could feel sadness. You could be morose. You can just sit there and go, oh, fuck, that fucking riff is sick as shit, you know? But, I mean, overall, when it comes to writing lyrics and doing vocals over, you know, something that they've written, it's like, okay, what theme works best here, and where am I going to be able to fit this in to where it doesn't sound cookie cutter, but it complements the rest of the instruments, just like the instruments will complement the vocals. You know, that's that whole cyclical aspect. So cyclical.
Oh.
Yeah, because the vocalist is surrounded by like the colors within the music and the sounds, and just that's just going to shape how you sing, how you growl, how you're on stage, how you know, attack certain instrument parts and everything. So it's just something I think that vocalists in extreme metal now don't get the credit they deserve, considering that I think it's, the genre continues to evolve constantly, and I think that's something that should be more noted, and other bands should take note of that. Don't be just a person like just up front. Your voice can do so much with the music too.
Right, exactly.
It's a whole other instrument in the music.
Yes.
It really is, like, and how Steve does it, it's like he's this front man, he's got this voice, but like he has these screams and these parts that like they fit, and if they're not there, then the rest of it doesn't have that same substance that it should, like it's that other instrument that needs to be there. It really is, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's something unique, very unique to extreme music, whether it's black metal, death metal, whatever, is the fact that vocalists in those genres, they're able to manipulate their voice in such a way that it goes beyond what we would call conventional music, and that I mean, don't get me wrong, singers in any other type of music, that's also not an instrument too. I mean, you listen to Mariah Carey, holy shit, those highs are insane. It's insane. Nobody else can really
on emotion, like that highs, like even I have metal friends who are like just hear her voice. Trust me, guys, hear her voice. And they're like,
I don't know, dude.
Shit.
Nitro, I don't know, dude. Jim Gillette, dude, he can break fucking crystal with his voice. What the fuck?
I mean, yeah, it's very true.
Yeah,
but I mean, talking about that, then if anything, all vocalists, singers, and all genres understand, like, look, your voice is not separate from everything else.
Right.
It's an instrument added to the entire ensemble, to the entire orchestra, so to speak, and it plays its own part, and it's able to have its own story within the mix of everything else. As far as extreme music goes, what we do is voice manipulation, not necessarily singing, but voice manipulation. So we're able to create and do different sounds outside of conventional music that really can complement a song and the other instruments as well. So,
and to that point about the extreme, like at least for me, like hearing those initial notes from the band, that's like what came to my mind is bands like, if you guys may have heard or been around, like Anata, Augury, Beyond Creation, Modeling of the Well, Lakeithia Flame, those very Decibel Omega, Ulcerate, that very like just different, dissonant. The choruses, there's maybe no choruses, maybe there's 12 riffs. There might, like, the songs don't follow the typical structures of chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, solo, done. And I'm just fascinated in learning more and trying to talk with, like, in Gorguts too, those kind of, like, bands. It seems like you kind of understand what they kind of either what they're attempting to do, playing the instruments, and what it's like. Any of those bands that I've mentioned, if you know who they, like, can you tell me, like, still learning...
Are you guys gonna be here for me?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. It's all good.
Yeah, no problem, dude.
Anything with those bands that, like, you can at least, like, when you hear Decibel Omega, when you hear Ulcerate, when you hear that kind of style, it's still sometimes difficult, in a good way, it's difficult to describe what they do. And I'm still ever learning, figuring out what that is. Because I think Cavebastard, like, some of those sounds and notes and where the placements are remind me of those, of that type. And that's a type of metal I feel is severely underrated.
Rad. Sorry, I don't know what to say about that. Like, I don't know, it's awesome. Like, like hearing that with Ulcerate or anything, like, to me, like, something like Shrine and all that, like, that's in the same, like, vein, I guess. And I don't know, I didn't know where I was going to go with that.
I was told, like, someone said that, like, they don't follow rules in terms of how they write. It's not just random, but they literally make their own kind of rules that the instruments are just, it's not just a happy chord or a sad chord. They literally take complete advantage of the instrument. And I'm just trying to just figure out that code more and more.
It's the, what fits, not only for us, but what sounds right. I guess no matter what for the writing, it's the I don't know, it's how it's going to progress and move, and everything before then and after that, it will. I don't know.
A lot of what you were describing though sounds a lot like just kind of like prog.
There's a little bit of prog in there, a little bit, yeah.
It's like a lot of that is.
It's like extreme progressive,
it's
like
not,
yeah.
It's not all about like messing with times. Like a lot of it is like I mean, this album is a concept album. It's got some weird shit in it. I ain't gonna lie. It's got some, but yeah, like it's just a lot of what this is really helped me. But
these I would like to ask these are really intense questions because like I think they matter. You know, they do.
I was hoping you're gonna ask awesome questions.
Thank you.
You were asking great questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for asking awesome questions. But yeah,
what's all about?
It's yeah. Well, you were asking before. It just sounds a lot like the kind of like the prog sound. It's very like the harmonies, like what you were saying, like the chords, the first chord, that's following traditional, that kind of shit. That's what it is. It's yeah, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna take a thing and we're just gonna evolve in a way that you're not gonna expect. We're gonna take a riff,
twist
and
it,
we're gonna develop
what sounds right, and just go.
We're gonna develop a riff in a way that we're not gonna. Yeah,
right.
We're gonna play a riff. It's gonna be a verse, and then you're gonna get another verse, and guess what, motherfucker? You're not gonna get it the same way. You're gonna get it different, and that's kind of like what a lot of that was going for, and hopefully moving forward, it's gonna get a little weird.
It's already getting a little weird.
It's a little tease, but yeah.
We took an old song and we've been kind of rewriting it, and it's getting weird and good in the right way.
And
it's like sitting in that right pocket between one record to the other, and like find that.
Yeah, using very different harmonies, like you said, like not traditional harmonies that you would think like, oh, I know where this chord's going. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't, motherfucker. That's what you're gonna get right now. Yeah.
And talking about that as well, like with how you write this kind of style, this kind of like if there's like a standard punk thrash band, let's write a punk riff, let's write a thrash riff. Yeah. This kind of music, it doesn't, I don't believe, not writing or anything doesn't really work that way. So how do you personally see either life, emotions, colors in general of how does this stuff come out exactly? Is it in a positive, you bring it out when you're negative or positive, or just how do you write this stuff, I guess is what I'm trying to, it's kind of redundant, but
I'll go last.
All right, sure. So speaking of Wrath of the Bastard, that album, that was honestly written out of a lot of turmoil, and like it was pretty hectic and fucked up, and I don't know, it was rough, but that all played a part somehow. And then also on top of that, just reutilizing things that we've already done before. I don't know, dude. Like, a lot of those riffs, a lot of that stuff came from, well, kind of that, like, you know, that angsty bullshit or whatever you want to call it, like that. Well, right? So I feel like it's like Papa Roach. Oh, I know, right? I said it. It's terrible. I said it. Fuck. And then I said, "Oh shit."
Oh, you fuck right.
Okay, so you're gonna edit that? Okay, good. Just kidding. All right, leave it in there. Whatever.
So it's all good.
Should have just said I'm pissed off and I wrote the riff.
Yeah, but was I really pissed off?
Yeah, I don't know.
I was kind of pissed a little bit.
There.
Yeah. So anyway, it's those moments, you know. It's like there are these moments that I don't know. At least when writing Wrath of the Bastard, there are these moments where like this riff just kind of came, you know. Like I'm sitting there playing my guitar or whatever, or bass, whatever the fuck it was at that time, and just it was there, and I was like the catalyst to the rest of the song and how it fit with the other songs that were already there, and like. I don't know, man. Like, it all seems so contrived and ridiculous, dude. It really is. It's so fucking ridiculous. Chaos, it really is. It's so fucking stupid. And it's chaos, and it's fucking great. And it kind of is. Like, it's like, whatever. It's like, cool. Are we stoked on this? Does it sound rad? Yes, it does. Rad, let's keep going. All right, cool. And that's what it is. It's like, it's not about, like, trying to be any type of genre or any type of band. It's like, we're going to do what we're going to do, and what happens, happens. Suck it. like pretty much like that's what it is. Like we just kind of
We all
go.
got different backgrounds.
Just go,
Yeah,
and we all have very different backgrounds,
styles.
but some of them intertwine and mesh here or there, and some are really obscure and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we're not.
They work.
We need to. We're not out here thinking we need to be a genre. We need to be one thing. We're a death metal band. We're a black metal band. We're
an extreme metal band, and we're gonna continue to do what we're gonna do, and where that goes, it goes.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's how I feel about it. Like I want to continually progress. I want us to continually grow and move
and be a lot more progressive.
No, just progress, not be progressive. But yes.
No.
Yeah. We'll be Civic next.
No, we're not that far. Goddamn.
So with the new album, you mentioned about having other material. With all the downtime we've had and everything, is there already is the next album going to be out either this year or next year? Is there an angst to put more material out quickly, or just focus on this record's promotion and playing it?
Honestly, I think next year would probably be the time for recording and getting our shit solidified and actually have a whole album worth to do it. That makes the most sense. Not going to rush through anything just for the sake of it. Just like, oh, it's been a year or 2 years or whatever. Like, I don't know, man. Like, our releases have been few and far in between.
We've had a few lineup changes.
There's been that too, and this last record, like, we unfortunately got this, we recorded right when that shit hit. Yeah. Steve drove pretty much straight, right? All the way home.
From Colorado.
Wow. We were recording there, did Wrath of the Bastard there, and it's like, cool, bass, go. A day and, like, a song, and then Steve busts his shit out like crazy, super fucking fast. It's like, all right, guys, you gotta go. Because shit's happening. I was like, yeah, we gotta go. And that was it. It was strange, man.
Yeah, I mean, we were wrapping up bass and vocals as like the shit was hitting the fan as far as the pandemic goes, and we're reading about like, like we're in Colorado. We're like, oh shit, they're closing everything in San Diego County. Like, what the fuck? And they're everything in LA is closed.
Are they gonna close the like borders or crossing like the state lines? Like, we didn't fucking know.
It was just,
we gotta go. Dave's like, you gotta go. All right, we're going.
So it was, and also too, the day that we were supposed to start recording vocals, there was a power outage in that neighborhood. So we didn't get started until super late in the afternoon. We only got maybe a couple songs done. And so that's why it took us like an extra day to get all that shit done. And so, one thing, so David Tarot, he's the one that recorded our album. He also did the last few Cattle records, and he's done Archspire, Allegion, Cephalic Carnage, Primitive Man.
Wow, most badass bands ever. Dude.
Yeah, so he's done a ton. So one thing he told us, as we're wrapping up recording, he's like, well, at least with all this shit happening right now, you guys haven't released the album yet. So you guys can put this on the back burner and release it when the time is right, versus someone that just put out an album at the end of last year. Now they're fucked, because now they can't tour, they can't do any of those things.
Right.
So considering that we just released this album in November, we still have a lot of promoting to do. We still have a lot of shows to do, any type of touring that becomes available throughout this year. So we need to make sure to get that out of the way. But that's still not going to stop us from writing for the next record. But any type of recording probably won't be until next year. But at least for now, we can start working on, and we actually are working on material for the next album already. So just to at least have that ready to rock.
And in terms of, you said that the show's perfect world, we don't live in one, but perfect world, quote unquote. What would Cavebastard, what's the plan for this year? Is it to get on any kind of show? Is it to what would the band like to do?
Well, I mean, any type of, touring, if it's, I mean, we've done the West Coast before, we've done the Southwest.
Let's get across to the East Coast, like travel the U.S., like do like an actual U.S. tour, or at least like get a full like Southern tour across, like to the East Coast and back, whatever. It just kind of depends on what the market, what we can do, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, to play where we haven't played before.
For us. Yeah.
Play where we haven't played before.
I never played anywhere, so I just want to. I never been out too. I'm excited.
Even the places that we have played in the past were a lot of fun. And so, I mean, basically, any place that will have us, and you know, where we're able to plan it out where it works out really good.
Yeah.
I mean, but overall, it's just to get ourselves out there. You know, I mean, prohibiting that any of this shit gets any fucking worse. And you know, there's a new strain. You know, the fucking Jesus Christ strain or whatever the fuck. You know, and you know, it crucifies people. I don't fucking know.
You have a lot of questions to answer for if he exists. A lot of questions to answer for.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, overall, it's just, you know, get ourselves out there, hit the road, play anywhere where anyone would like to have us, and just have fun. Ultimately, have fun and, you know, bring any type of joy or entertainment to anyone that'd be willing to come and watch us
deliver
play.
those riffs and just deliver whatever we can, dude.
That's right, the riffage.
Yeah.
And my last question, actually, mentioning about this tour, I can safely say I've actually I've heard Creeping Death. The other bands I haven't heard on this tour except Cattle. I'm assuming that Cattle brought these bands because A, they like them, but B, Cattle, like they didn't, like last time they had Atheist and they had Suffocation a couple years ago. I don't think these bands can like do headlining. I could be wrong, doing headlining tours like they can exactly. So I feel like in a way with Cattle's name and recognition that these bands are getting a boost in sight, in merch, and eyeballs, and just attendance overall. And just speaking about that with COVID and everything going forward, and there's this hunger for people to go to these shows again, and I hope it stays, and I hope people don't go back to those habits of, you know, I'm going to a show and they're not. What would you at least have noticed for COVID and just, you know, getting people to stay with the bands? What could bands and fans in general do better going forward to make sure these kind of shows like this keep going strong, and knowing that, you know, the strains get worse, it could be taken away again? What can, I guess I want to try to like help get the scene just even a little more people, a little more each time, to where it's just like this night all the time. Any experience or tips or what you think could really do something for that?
I think one thing can be said is don't take anything for granted, because I think a lot of people took like, you know, shows in general for granted in the past, and once it was taken away, they didn't realize how much they missed it until it was gone. You know, it's like, you know,
It's like the art in general thing. It's like, oh, this shit's gone. Oh,
yeah, it's like, you know, Joni Mitchell. You don't know what you got till it's gone.
yeah.
So I would say don't take anything for granted, and also to be smart about your health. Obviously, you know, if COVID gets worse and like that, anything of this could be taken away again. It could be shut down, whatever. Just be smart. Don't take unnecessary risks. You know, if your health allows it, get fucking vaccinated, get boosted, wear a mask out in public if you can. If you're doing something that you're able to. You know, I mean, I work with the general public and I wear a mask every fucking day at work. And because like I don't know who's going to come through that door, who, if they're not vaccinated, not wearing a mask, are going to cough on me, what they're carrying, whatever. So, I mean, I would say moving forward, if people are available to make it to a show, if they have the funds to go to a show, do it. Because without the fans, us bands really can't continue to keep doing this type of shit, especially the ones that are as big as Cattle, as big as any other big band. They rely on this type of shit.
Right.
And so, if people aren't going to shows and they're not buying merchandise and they're saying, well, I can do this another time, or I'd rather stay home and watch my streaming services or any that type of shit. Well, I mean, what you're doing is you're helping kill an art form. I mean, you know, that's just the plain way to say it.
Yeah.
Is because, you know, 20 years ago, well before streaming, before the internet was a giant thing and people are getting their entertainment that way, I mean, this was a big source of entertainment. Go to shows, go, you know, whatever it is, if it's a comedy show, music, whatever. So just
Where you find all the new shit, you know? You show up and you go, oh, what the hell is this?
Like how I found the band today, like just out of nowhere, not expecting me. Like, whoa, this is.
You know, back then there's no Facebook or any of that shit. Even you know, it's like, oh, this is it. There's a show.
Yeah.
See what's going on. Who are the opening bands? I don't fucking know. Let's find out.
Exactly.
Or whatever. It's like
And-
there's no like precursor to it all to where you can judge everything.
and it
And it's
allows
like now
you
you enjoy and
yes, and it allows you to stay open-minded, to listen to bands you've never heard before. to meet friends you didn't know that you had, and just experience something that, you know, you're not going to be able to get doing anything else and going anywhere else. And so, I mean, as a fan and as a musician, I can say that, you know, don't take this shit for granted. It can easily go away as it did before. And, you know, without the fans, you know, like, there's no reason to be doing this type of shit, you know? And if people altogether were to stop going to shows, I mean, you know, you'd see places like this close.
I've always said the day I can't go to a show anymore is the day a part of me dies, and I really feel that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to enjoy it as long as I can.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, keep enjoying it as much as you can, and, you know, I mean, it's all about having fun. This is the main reason why any of us do any of it. Whether we go to shows, whether we perform, any of that shit, it's to have fun. And ultimately, there's nothing else, in my experience, there's nothing else that can take the place of the type of fun that can be had attending a show or performing a show, you know?
Especially quality tours and shows like this.
Yeah.
And what we play.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what's the best way fans and people out there can hear Wrath of the Bastard? Best way to hear it, buy it? What's the best way to hear the new album?
You can go to cavebastard.bandcamp.com to purchase the album, whether it's a CD or digital download. You can hear it in its entirety streaming on Spotify, on YouTube,
Amazon
Music.
Yeah. Deezer, you know, like it's on multiple streaming services right now.
Yeah. You know, you can follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and, you know, any updates on the band, you'll be able to find there. Any links directing you to any type of streaming or, you know, merchandise links, you'll be able to find it all there.
Great. The floor is yours. Any last words you'd like to say for the night and going forward for the year?
Oh, that's a hard one.
I know. It's like, what?
Well, keep fucking moving forward. Don't ever fucking give up. And just continue to follow your fucking dreams and have fun, whatever it is that you're doing. Once you're not having fun anymore, that's when it's time to walk away.